a group of angry French sailors. Suddenly, Sal spotted a man in a grey suit, carrying a familiar canvas bag. "There he goes! Stop that thief!" A high-speed chase through the narrow streets of the city ensued. The thief ducked into an old fort where an ancient, ornamental cannon sat on the ramparts. In desperation, the thief stuffed the money bag down the barrel of the cannon to hide it just as Bixby and his military police arrived. "I've got you!" Bixby screamed, pointing at Sal. "Where's the money? Produce it or go to jail." "I don't have it, Captain," Sal said, looking at the cannon. Just then, an enemy reconnaissance plane appeared overhead. The thief, panicking, grabbed a torch and lit the fuse of the old cannon, hoping the smoke would cover his escape. Boom! The cannon roared. It didn't fire a ball, but it did fire a magnificent, swirling cloud of $20 and $100 bills. The Saint Vichy sky rained money. "Manna from heaven," Barney shouted, catching a handful of bills. "That's not manna, you idiot. That's the payroll," Bixby shrieked, scrambling on the ground to collect the flying cash. Bixby shrieked, "That's the payroll." Sal Thorne watched with a smirk as the Commodore crawled through the dirt, frantically counting the bills as they drifted into the lagoon. "Well, Captain," Sal said, leaning against the maelstrom, 7-3. "I believe the money is all there. Give or take a few thousand that blew out to sea." Bixby looked up, his face covered in soot, clutching a handful of wet money. "Thorne." "I know, Captain." Sal smiled, tipping his cap. "But look on the bright side. It's Friday the 13th. It could have been much worse." As the maelstrom, 7-3, roared away from the dock, the crew began to sing. They had survived the Admiral, the Sultan, the Laughing Gas, the Alligator, and the payroll. In the Azure Archipelago, the war might be long, but for Commander Sal Thorne and his scoundrels, the party was just getting started. End of file. The Chronicles of Aquatica Prime. The Sterling Misadventure. Chapter 1. The Blue Tremors in the Iron Jaw. The atmosphere on Aquatica Prime was usually 80% humidity and 20% shear. Deep within the pressurized domes of Sector 7, a base that looked more like a collection of rusted tin cans than a prestigious military outpost. Commander Barnaby, Bluster Barnaby, was having a very bad Tuesday. Barnaby was a man whose blood pressure could be used to power a small city. He sat at his mahogany desk, which was currently vibrating because the plumbing in the senior officer's lounge had decided to perform a percussion solo. Gaskets, silk stabilizers. I don't care if they have to be woven from the manes of space unicorns. Barnaby screamed into his comm link. The nursing staff needs their uniform stabilizers, and if they don't get them, I'll have your head on a platter. Shake a fin, Lieutenant. He slammed the comm link down and turned to his sycophantic aide, Lieutenant Silas Sly Slingshot. Sly was a man who had turned Yes Man into a professional sport. "Sir," Sly whispered, his eyes darting toward a blinking red light on the console. "I just got an encrypted burst from Central Command. High Overseer Ironjaw Jagger is arriving today for a snap inspection." Barnaby's face went through several shades of purple, eventually settling on a sickly lilac. "Ironjaw Jagger? The man who court-martialed his own grandmother for having an unpolished teapot? If he sees the state of Sector 7, he'll have me demoted to Barnacle Scrubber." Barnaby looked around his office. The ceiling was leaking. The petty officers were currently running an illegal gambling ring in the torpedo bay, and the local sea beasts were nesting in the air filtration system. "I need a way out," Barnaby hissed, his eyes landing on a bottle of antacids. "Sly, do you realize that my stomach acid could currently dissolve a hull plate? If I were. Pisuzi, Gastapa, incapacitated. Say, with a rare and debilitating tropical virus, I wouldn't have to face the Overseer, would I?" Sly's eyes widened. "Sir, are you suggesting the blue tremors?" "Exactly. And if I am sick, I must appoint an acting base commander. Someone to take the fall. Someone Jagger will absolutely loathe." Barnaby's lips curled into a predatory smile. "Captain Maverick Sterling," Sly gasped. "Not Sterling, sir. He's a rogue, a buccaneer. He and his crew of misfits Treat this planet like a private resort. Precisely, Barnaby chuckled, before suddenly collapsing onto his sofa with a dramatic, albeit poorly acted, groan. Now, call the medics. Tell them I'm dying. And call Sterling. Tell him it's his lucky day. Captain Maverick Mav Sterling was currently supervising his crew in the only way he knew how. From a hammock on the deck of the Stingray 4-6, a modified scout sub that smelled like stale beer and victory. His crew was a collection of specialists who specialized in everything except following orders. There was Virgil the mechanic, who could fix a warp drive with a paperclip. Gruber the chef, who could make 5-star meals out of seaweed and despair. And Junior Lieutenant Percy Puddles Pippin, a man so clumsy he once tripped over a wireless signal. When the summons came, Sterling sighed. Captain Sterling. Barnaby moaned from his bed, surrounded by holographic monitors displaying fake heart rates. The doctors. They say it's the blue tremors. I could be out for weeks. I'm appointing you acting base commander, and Pippin here. He'll be your acting executive officer. Pippin, who was standing nearby, accidentally knocked over a tray of surgical instruments. Me? Executive officer? Oh boy, you won't regret this, sir. Barnaby closed his eyes, hiding his glee. I'm sure I won't. Now get out. Command is yours. And remember, High Overseer Jagger arrives in 2 hours. Good luck. As Sterling and Pippin walked out, Sterling muttered, He's faking it, Puddles. He's setting us up for the slaughter. 7, he's faking, he's setting us up for the slaughter. But Skip, Pippin chirped, tripping over the doorframe. We're in charge. We can finally fix those sinks in the Petty Officers Club. Chapter 2. The Duke and the Dancing Deception. The first hour of Sterling's command was spent fielding calls about leaking pipes and missing laundry. By the second hour, he was wondering if Barnaby's blue tremors were contagious. Then, the alarms blared. Sir, Pippin shouted, running into the command center with a stack of papers. High Overseer Jagger's shuttle just landed. But wait, there's more. The Grand Duke of Delphina is also here. He's our most important ally. And he's brought his 3 daughters, the Sirens. Sterling rubbed his temples. Great. A ruthless inspector and a royal entourage. Puddles, get the honor guard ready. And by honor guard, I mean tell the boys to put on their shirts. The Grand Duke was a towering man with a beard that looked like a well-groomed hedge. His daughters were indeed Sirens tall, elegant, and currently looking very bored with the rusty confines of Sector 7. Commander Sterling, the Duke boomed. I was told Captain Barnaby was ill. I trust you are prepared to show us the hospitality of Aquatica Prime? Absolutely, Your Grace, Sterling lied smoothly. The Duke's eyes lit up. Excellent. I've always wanted to see how you commoners navigate these treacherous waters. The tour was a disaster from the start. Pippin, trying to be helpful, decided to show the Duke how the torpedo controls worked. Within minutes, the Stingray 4-6 was spinning in circles, and the Duke's favorite daughter, Princess Seraphina, was accidentally sprayed with hydraulic fluid. I am outraged, the Duke bellowed. My daughters have never been treated with such commonality. Wait, Your Grace, Pippin cried, grabbing a nearby cloth that turned out to be a hula skirt left over from a crew party. It was a ceremonial greeting. In our culture, being sprayed with fluid is a sign of great respect. Like a baptism of the sea. The Duke paused, looking at the hula skirt in Pippin's hand. A ceremonial greeting? And what is that garment? This is the mantle of merriment, Pippin said, frantically improvising. Our dancers wear it to welcome royalty. Sterling stepped in, sweating. Yes, Your Grace, we have a grand dinner and dance planned for tonight. While Sterling distracted the Duke, Pippin pulled the crew aside. Guys, we're in trouble. The Duke wants a dance, and we don't have any dancers. And the High Overseer is currently roaming the base, looking for a reason to fire us. Gruber, the chef, stepped forward. We've got the costumes from last year's aquatic follies.